property within 180 days of termination.
There's no changes to those, they're only being renumbered, they're just being
And same with 1.7. So just moved up.
Move to approve 10.1.6 renumbered, and 10.1.7 renumbered, and approve the striking of the original 10.1.6 that was used as per, city attorney.
Okay, there's a motion, is there a second? Motion and a second, any discussion on it? Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, amendments. The county commission may from time to time amend, supplement, or repeal any part of these regulations after public notice and hearing. Hearing may be held by the zoning commission.
And I would change it to the hearing must be held by the zoning commission, and that's required by
Sorry,
North
sorry,
Dakota.
Okay, any questions on it?
We're on 3.2?
Yes.
So mine says the hearing may be held by the zoning county commission. That's correct. So we want to strike that from on.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Must be held by zoning commission.
Must be held by the zoning
Zoning
commission. So
commission
strike,
by state law.
so strike county also.
Yes, correct.
Okay, 5.1.3.17. This is the section where if it was approved, the board cannot approve the proposed amendments in 10.1.2.3.
Right, so that was page 9, which we've done.
Yes, so this is, I'm just going through them one at a time. Notice of hearings. Any notice of hearings that we given?
This was done.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that was the double up.
Yep.
Okay. Moving along, 8.1.1.
I think we might have doubled up 8.1.1. Yes, we did, sorry, both of those were mine.
Okay. Application for zoning amendments. Have we
That
done that?
would be, nope, that would be just changing it to $1,000. Currently, we had it for $100, but we have to hold a public meeting first and then a public hearing, and for the costs to convene all of you guys here, we are losing money, so that would be basically a break even, and we charge $1,000.
So the request is $1,000.
$1,000.
Alright, so it's, with that, I'll move to approve section 3.2 with, city attorney as releases where the hearing must be held by the zoning commission, as well as, 9.0 for the, zoning amendment fee change.
Okay, we got a motion on the table, is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion and a second for these changes, any discussion on them? Discussion, okay.
So on 9.0, the application for a zoning amendment, taking it from $100 to $1,000. $1,000 is a lot of money. I mean, I don't disagree that it costs to convene the zoning board or whatever else, but, it kind of everybody's money's tight. We hear about how people's money's tight, that's why they are very pushing on something, economic development, right, types of stuff. It seems like if all this is $100, and then from here on forward, we're gonna go to $1,000, that's a big price increase. And I get paid to be on the zoning board, and I get mileage, and I get per meeting. I don't think that I haven't gotten paid 10 cents more. I mean, I get that it's supposed to cover the cost, but I think that's an awful lot, and I would almost propose to keep it at $100. So the average person of any county can propose an amendment and not make it a wealthy individual's ability. I mean, I'm sorry. What's that?
How much would it cost, does it cost the county?
It's about $500 for the meeting.
And then, our notices, depends on how big it goes in the paper. I haven't looked at this one, I would say.
So it's $1,000 just for the public hearing and the meeting, and that's not including publication fees. So at $1,000, we're
Costing
still
the
losing
county.
money. We lost a lot of money in this process.
But if you think about it, a zoning amendment, everything is ag, so anything that's being amended is an intense use than what is currently there. And so therefore, if you're proposing more intense use, it's going to cost more for review. And what if it's a hog farm or a different facility and they want, right? Like, this is a zoning amendment, so you want to, anything other than ag is a more intense use and therefore should require more intense review. And the applicant should pay for a more intense review of their land, use of their land, than what they're currently at.
But a tenfold increase is an awful lot of money, awful big increase.
But that's because we haven't kept up with the cost. I mean, does anybody know when the last time when the $100 was proposed? I mean,
I think it's been that way all along, because
so
we want,
10 years.
because we want people to be involved.
We're not exactly doing like cost of inflation or COLA increase, right?
I know, but we wanted people to be involved. I mean, how many people are gonna go pony up $1,000 to hear an amendment type of deal? I think,
That would only be a special amendment, would it not, if we had to have a special hearing? But if they didn't, need a special hearing for it, and we just had it during our regular meeting, I mean, what if they did that?
That would make a difference too.
That would make a difference. I mean, maybe the amendment or the application of a special, you
And
know?
I don't think we've used that term, so it's hard to.
I don't think we've.
Other than like our
Yes.
4 regular scheduled meetings. I mean, we're already meeting.
Yes.
What if they proposed an amendment and we were gonna hear it then?
Then,
On a special meeting.
yes, then.
That wouldn't be a special meeting.
Yeah.
If it was one of our
No, I
quarterly
get what you're
meetings.
saying, yes.
Right.
Yeah,
If
I
we,
think-
if we
You
hear
know,
an amendment at quarterly meeting.
then why would they pay $1,000?
Right,
Yeah.
but,
We're
but,
already there.
but the other thing is, we've had a lot of special meetings, because everybody's trying to get stuff going on and getting through. I can see if you can't wait 3 months.
Right.
To pay one. But with 9 or how many, 14 pages here at $100, and then we're just gonna say the next one is $1,000 type of deal, I think that is wrong. I mean, I think that, we're here to serve the community.
Can we make that change right now?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
So how about if we make it for, if it's a special zoning,
If it requires a
requires a
special.
special meeting, you pay $1,000.
Can I offer something for your
Absolutely.
consideration? You have to publish twice for an amendment to the zoning ordinance. It doesn't matter if it's a special meeting. The publication requirements are statutory, so it's not because you're doing a special meeting, it's because it's an amendment. So not weighing in otherwise, just wanted you to be aware.
We understand that, it's just, I mean,
I think,
the publication could be in there twice that, you know, at our regular meeting, will be this, that's
We
proposed.
still might lose money on the publication, or we'll be close on the publication.
Right.
But that would be, it would probably cover the publication, we break even at that point.
Right.
It depends on how big it is, right?
Yeah.
Just anything, yeah.
Yeah, but how do you classify it?
right, I just think that $1,000, a tenfold jump is a big jump.
What if we did half and did 500, and then let's see how this year plays out, because we should be reviewing these on an annual basis or so, and look at all of our fee structures, which I think we've talked about.
Right.
Is reviewing them more often. So why don't we, if we did 500 on this, I'll amend my motion to include, State's Attorney Ashley Lee's recommendations, however, on 9.0, that we would recommend a $500 increase, or total.
$500 per amendment.
Yes.
Who seconded it?
I'll second the amendment.
Bill, make your second.
So are we doing for a special
For zoning,
or just any
zoning
amendment,
Let's just
even
leave
if
it
it's
straight
just during, okay, I just want to clarify.
Okay, so that motion change is on the table. Any more discussion on it? Any more discussion? Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, 10.1.4, this is a new section, Levi, you approved these three. You want me to talk about? Go ahead, if you know that if you have writing in something.
So,
Go ahead.
So, at our last meeting, I proposed some amendments, and basically, the state has Century Code, the requirement to use light mitigating technology, aircraft detection lighting systems, where they're gonna have, and it's in their plans that they proposed at one time, where there's a tower, and it picks up aircraft flying. And when the aircraft are flying, it turns on the red blinking lights. When the aircraft leaves the area, the red lights go off, so you don't have the whole skyline lit up overnight. So sometimes what can happen on these wind projects, and it's happened down by Wishing, is they gotta submit their application to the FAA to use the light mitigating technology. And sometimes the FAA will deny it. So then what happens is they go to the Public Service Commission and they can request a waiver for using the light mitigating technology on that, which would basically waive the state requirement. And what my proposal would be is to, if they can't use the light mitigating technology, there's not a power at that location. Make it so the whole project has to use it. Sometimes what happens is a developer might say that the light mitigating technology is very expensive, so they request a waiver, or they got a small project, so they request a waiver, or the FAA might say, we're denying your light mitigating technology on the, an area real close to an airport type of deal. Because, you know, aircraft are taking off, and when it's on the ground and it's taken off, it doesn't know that it's not a car, so it won't turn the lights on. So they do it for safety reasons. What my thing is, what my amendment would basically be is, it would make certain that if the state granted a waiver, we wouldn't acknowledge it, because we're gonna say we're gonna not have our skyline blinking red, because the FAA said you didn't get the technology. Does everybody follow kind of what I'm getting at?
Kind of, but not the FAA.
I'm not saying that we are, but I'm certain that if, let's say this project happened, it started getting closer to New Rockford type of deal, and they denied the technology on towers right north of town. The state put this in there to eliminate light pollution and to try to ease the concerns of somebody that's living on River Road, looking out their window and red light blinking type of deal. The state put this in, but then there's that waiver there. We're basically saying, no waiver, what the state said is it. You gotta use it.
Molly, do you have anything to add? Do you understand? more of these?
I do understand, and my understanding of the statute is that it gives the authority over the light mitigation requirements to the Public Service Commission, so I believe they have the authority over that, and not necessarily counties. So they deal with it through the FAA, and the FAA has ultimate authority over it, and that's where we keep going layers back. So I understand the concept, but in my mind, the authority to regulate ADOS installation, including the waiver provisions, falls with the PSC. And in part because I had to be part of the amendments to that to allow the PSC to grant waivers even if the FAA denied the ADOS. So
But we could put that in a condition of the siting permit, that light mitigating technology must be used.
I think the difference is that this is a specific authorization given to the Public Service Commission, who has to defer to the FAA. It isn't given broadly to the states. So to me, it's different, it's almost like a preemption.
So basically, no matter what we do.
Yeah.
But we hold the siting permit for the county.
You hold your zoning.
If our zoning would hold the siting permit for the county. I mean, I'm just thinking of Bob Hanson being the mayor of Cheyenne and him catching flack if they get a waiver or a bunch of blinking lights right on the south side of Cheyenne. I mean, I wouldn't wanna be, you know, getting those concerns when in Century Code it says that, you know, this technology must be used. I mean, do you kind of see what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, and Century Code states that it must be used, and they also have the waiver provisions that have to be evaluated. I mean, and the FAA, they generally, I mean, they will prevail in the federal government, and they work in concert with the PSC to make those regulations work. And so I don't know that us coming in with something, like, we're not at that level, like, we are not able to
I'm not
dictator
saying
of
that
that.
I'm not saying that we're dictators, I'm not saying that we're aviation authorities or anything like that. All I'm saying is that we could make certain that the skyline isn't blinking red all night if a waiver is sought. I'm not, basically, towers here, they request a waiver, the Public Service Commission grants a waiver, but we don't recognize the waiver. That's all I'm saying. But if nobody sees any issue with it, and it's fine with those.
So you're basically saying you don't want Blinken, which I don't know.
Right, yeah, what I'm saying is, if for whatever reason you can't make the red blink and white, only blink when it needs to, you don't get the power. That's what I'm saying.
Well, we would be kicked out, I'm sure, but we could,
How
doesn't hurt to have it, does it?
How would we be kicked out?
Well, I think it's
Well,
that they overrules,
yeah,
they're just
But
higher.
no, they might say that, yeah, they have to have the light mitigating technology, but we hold the siting permit at the county, so we say, well, that power's out there.
I think what you said that made, from a legal perspective, made me nervous is that the PSC could grant a waiver and you would just ignore it. And that
On the
seems,
local level.
that seems problematic, that's just where I'm coming from.
But doesn't the PSC go through all of our local zoning and make certain that the permittee, the developer, adheres to all the local rules? So if in the local rules it says, well, they aren't recognizing a waiver, type of deal, so we aren't gonna grant one.
The PSC requires a permit, or requires you to get all of the permits that you need and to provide them with copies of those. They don't actually enforce your regulations, if that makes sense, you're separate in that way.
But if in our permit, it's contingent that these towers will use light mitigating technology, and if they don't, the permit is invalid.
I think I've probably said all that I can say, and I don't wanna speak I'm speaking from my understanding of
That's
how this would work. So I think I will defer to Ashley and others as far as how you guys wanna handle it from your legal perspective.
Ashley, do you have anything to add?
I have concerns on any time that we're using definitive language like cannot be waived, and again, I've got concerns that the FAA is gonna trump us anyhow. So I just would have concerns, I mean, we could put it in there and hope that it works, but
But the FAA isn't the one placing the tower, they're just saying that you have to use, that you cannot use a certain technology. In the